So I wanted to talk a little bit about the Mustang and the GT500, and regarding the previous generation, which was '05 to '14. First of all, I felt that it was too long that it ran, which is the case with a lot of cars like the Mercedes C-Class, uh, some other cars. But before the LCI, so before about 13, so 5 to 13, I felt that the front end was very plain, and furthermore the rear was also, it was the iconic Mustang rear, which never gets, really could never get old. But when you have an iconic car like the Mustang, that's where you're torn between updating and upgrading to something new and sticking with something old. And if you are to go on to something new, you're gonna get a bunch of critics saying or missing the old style. Whereas going for something old will also get you critics wanting something new. And there's never gonna be a win-win situation. And I think accepting that, Ford chose to stay with the old looking design, and that's most evident in the two places which I like the least. So the seats on the Mustang and the GT500, I'm looking at them right now, and it follows that rib pattern that you can find from even the 60s Mustangs, and it kind of just looks like an AutoZone car seat cover, and I really hate that. Again, if you get the Recaro package, then you're on a different level. You have one of the best seats, factory. But without that, I feel like they're very under. They could have been done a lot better. They're barely even. They're sport seats, but they're not even as sporty as 335i seats or G37 seats, and just really standard looking. And then the second thing, which I felt, or I know that they've kept from the older models, is the gauges, technically. And I feel like the gauges, I looked at a 60s Mustang interior, and the gauges are almost exactly the same. And I found that to be kind of disappointing. Again, torn between two, it's not really, like I said, there's not really a win-win situation. But again, I think going for something new will always be better, because change is good when it comes to cars. And so, yeah, well, that's that. The front end, as I mentioned, which I found to be plain, I really dislike the look with the two lights in the grille, and when they're not in the grille, it's decent, but like the GT500, which has them below, but with them in the grille, I feel like it's almost repulsive. And that's the seats, the gauges, those would be the three cons. But then with the new post LCI, the tail lights, the change got rid of that age, because even if you got an 11 car, it looked pretty much the same as the 5. And so I felt like that was, '05, and I felt like that was a con. And it showed age. You don't want to get a 2011 car and have it look the same as a car from literally 6 years ago. And so they were nice still, definitely iconic, those sequential tail lamps. Smoke them and you got a great look on a white car or even a black car. But post LCI, I feel like they made those really, really nice, and I definitely appreciated those. But then with the let me talk a little bit more about post LCI. I feel like the front end update was definitely nice, but again, plain. Again, we're talking without aftermarket parts. With aftermarket parts, you can look insanely aggressive, but you know, stock. And definitely like the wheels on the GT500. Like I said, tail lamps are great, or tail lights, tails, whatever. Interior, they upgraded the seats a little, decreased the space between the lines, so there's more lines. So again, something new is better. Looks different and thus better. The gauges also look different, and I like that. And so, no, never mind. They're pretty much the same, which is somewhat disappointing. But then moving on to the new gen, the 15 Mustang. This is really impressive. I feel like they brought a new front end, or a new front bumper, front grille, front headlights. I refer to that as front end, everything, and it looks great. Took out the cons, you know, those ugly lights and the grills, and it looks aggressive. It looks really good. The tail lamps are slightly different from the 13, 14 model, and I really like these. Overall, they even changed the styling somewhat, kind of like a lower roof, a lower stance, lower ride, and it's a fastback now. Definitely looks great. I'm sure it rides great. That's never been a complaint with the Mustang. Haven't test driven it yet, but the look just really feels like a foreign look in a good way, not deviating from the muscle look too much, but adding a foreign aspect to it, which was really needed. And when I say foreign, I'm talking about that hood scoop, not that hood scoop, sorry, the hood line and the line of the roof. It gives it like a low look. The hood obviously sticks out muscle-esque, and the rear sticking out a nice. Something I didn't talk about, which I'm going to add now, is the engine, the power, the ride, the exhaust, the sound. Obviously we've heard those MagnaFlows or those Flowmasters, those Orlas. They sound amazing. Got that nice deep growl. The GT500 sounds insane, but that's just, you know, a couple of things. And I focus on the sound a little bit because I feel like sound and appearance or aesthetics are appealing to consumers and customers. And that's about it for me on the Mustang and the GT. Thanks for watching.